Now, Plateau State in north-central Nigeria has been the center of one of the most gory instances of ethnic-based violence in recent times. What has been the underlying cause, and what's the way forward? Well, joining us now to talk a bit about this is Dayubba Garga, who is the Plateau State Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development. Good to have you join us on Newsday. I hope you can hear me.
For having me.
Okay. Now,
yes.
Okay. Could you help, for those who are following the recent, ramp up of violence in Plateau State, could you help us understand what the genesis of this has been and why it has continued to date?
Well, first and foremost, conflict is part of human existence because there's no community, there's no any association where there's no conflict. But how you manage it and how you resolve it that matters. How you stop the escalation of that conflict. One of which is the justice system or selective justice. Selective justice in this nation is a breeding ground for conflict. If you are found to have contravened one or two of the statute of the country, you should be punished accordingly. A situation where somebody who has stolen a fowl will be jailed, and somebody who has stolen millions of naira is walking freely in the street. So, if the justice system can handle and punish offenders, irrespective of who you are or what you have in the society, I'm sure people will sit up and embrace themselves. The second aspect is that of assimilation, understanding and respect for one another. Where you look down upon my religion or my tribe or my culture, you don't give me my due respect, which is reciprocal. I respect you, you also respect me. Then we will live in peace. One also aspect is also the issue of herders, farmers. This conflict has been with us for so many years. Anybody living on earth today must have met this conflict. The herdsman wants to graze with his cattle. The farmers have their own crops. And these cattle, once any mistake they see farm, they will go in and feed upon. And the farmer will not be happy. How do you resolve that? Do you continue to allow it happens? Or somebody heading his cattle will come and destroy my farmlands, even kill me and go free? Or if you just spoil my farm, I'll go and kill the herders, kill his own cattle, then I also go free? So we must try to understand how to resolve these issues that have been there for so many years. We inherited this crisis. So it is when we have this accommodation, it's when we have this respect for one another, then we will live in peace. And the issue of protecting my own criminal simply because it's my tribesman, or I go to the same church with him, or I go to the same mosque with him, so I don't want him to be punished. How can you come to terms for people to respect the law? So whatever it is, and we all know the sensitivity of religion. Once I committed myself, I will try to get the sympathy of my fellow people that will go to pray in the same mosque or go to pray in the same church with him. While committing the crime, I did not consult my fellow religion. I did not consult my tribesmen. Yet my tribesmen will come on board to support me. So looking at all these issues culminating into the problem, I have gone to commit a crime. Then I quickly saw people are after me because I'm a Muslim, or I'm a Christian, or I'm an Angas, or I'm a Hausa man. So unless we're able to fish out the criminal among us, in every society, we have the bad, the good, and the ugly. If the good can bring out all the bad within them and hand them over to the security agencies for the proper action. But where you fish out the criminal, hand him over to the security, and in the next 2-3 days, he's out in the street, then you become his own target. So people are afraid. That's why people don't even want to go and give witnesses in the police station. They will tell them, look, it is Mr. B that told us you are behind this thing. And you know, because substance abuse also contributed a lot. They do not commit this crime and criminality when they are in good senses. This substance abuse, drug abuse, you will go until when they are completely out of their senses. Can you imagine a fellow human being taking a knife to cut his fellow human being's throat? So all these things are the environment we grow from. If not my tribe, it's not my religion, I don't want to support, I don't want to agree with anybody. Look at even in government appointment, you see more qualified person.
Mr. Garga, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. Joining us now, we have the Vice Chancellor of Plateau State University, Yohanna Iza, going to be joining us with the conversation as well on the constant insecurity going on in Plateau State. Good afternoon. We want to talk about, good afternoon. We want to talk about the general feeling of those in Plateau State right now, how, you know, the state of insecurity and trauma has affected their daily and economic lives and output.
Well, thank you very much. I think there is a feeling of frustration. If you look at the historical events, this is not the first time we're having this kind of unfortunate events. The major history shows that right from 1994 through 2001, you have had occurrences of this, what looks like ethno-religious conflicts. And anytime this happens, there are great disruptions in the social and economic life of the people. And so the majority of people on the plateau feel a sense of frustration that over the years, we keep on going through these repeated cycles of violence from time to time. I think that the consensus is that we need to come back to the drawing table and look at ways by which this can be avoided in the future. Because there can be no development, there can be no progress, there can be no governance where there is no peace and security. So this is where we are today in Plateau State.
Mr. Garga, speaking of coming back to the drawing table, many times people have played down the ethno-religious aspect of this conflict. But the reason we're targeting it now is who will need to be brought to the table to resolve this crisis? Briefly. Mr. Garga.
We, the citizens of Plateau, need to come to the drawing table and say, look, we are ready to live in peace. Security alone cannot make us live in peace. We must respect one another, our culture, our religion. I don't need to say you must be with me to be a Muslim, or you must not say I must be with you to be a Christian. Let's respect one another and have this understanding. I'm sure if the people are ready, if we are ready to embrace peace, I'm sure there will be peace. And that goes to say that let me bring out the bad element in my society, you also bring out the bad element in your society, and then we begin to, no reasonable person you will see joining in this crisis. It is those our youth that are always used under the cover of drugs that are causing this problem, or the escalation. They may not be the cause, but they escalate it from both sides. How can somebody, because he's going your tribe, he's wrong and you don't want him to be punished, then how can we leave the crisis? So the crisis will go. And at the same time, the security also should also not be disclosing whoever said Mr. AB is somebody that you need to interrogate. Why is he behaving the way he's behaving? Without anybody supporting him simply because it's my tribe or my religion.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Garga and Professor Izam, for joining us on Newsday. If the people of Plateau State want peace, then there will be peace. Thank you for your insights.